Hi everybody, this is WildStorm Comic Reviews here with a review on Brass, issue 3. And and this is going to conclude my reviews of the Brass comics. And check out this cover, guys. The cover's really awesome. Here, got a lot of the detail here. You can even see the brass armor and like the reflection of this dude's helmet, which is really cool. Really awesome. Look at all this detail, guys. Got the belt here, you got the stuff leaning out from the helmet, you got all this other stuff. It's just really cool. Look at all the wires, guys. Look at the helmet detail. Really neat. Look at that eye detail. Really cool cover. Really cool. Yeah, let's get into our story. Let's finish our story up. So we start off and we see these two people. For those of you who are comic book fans of Image, fans of WildStorm, this is Roxy, I believe. She's from the Gen 13 book. And also we got Grunge, I believe. They're both from a comic book called Gen 13. They're waiting outside because apparently they're trying to get into this concert and their fake IDs didn't work. So that's pretty funny, I guess. It doesn't really have anything to do with the story. It's pretty funny nonetheless. Nice opening, nice artwork, very detailed. Yep, we keep going. We're at a concert. It's like a rock concert. See, everybody's partying, everybody's having a good time, and they hear this rumble, and they're like, they're not sure what's going on. They're thinking maybe it's the party, maybe because of how loud and exciting it is. That's what's going on. See this DJ guy right here. It's a pretty cool scene. Thinking maybe it's just because of how loud the rock concert is, but actually it's because... no, because it's actually an explosion. This building explodes. Really good detail, by the way. Really cool detail. Got the car here. We got the building exploding. And we see someone flying in the air, and turns out that person is Herschel Goldstein. Or as he also goes by, Brass, which remember from issue 2, the last issue I reviewed, he actually got to transform into the Brass virus. And it kind of explains that in this book too. But he's falling in the air, he crashes. We see 3 more guys in the brass armor. And I gotta, again, take a few minutes here. Look at how cool this is, guys. Look at the detail in this. This is the brass, this is the people who are truly transformed into the brass armor. This is what the brass armor looks like when somebody transforms into the brass machines. Here we go. Pretty cool looking. Sorry for the light glare, but I had to do it inside today because it's raining. Yep. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get this for you guys because it's really cool. Look at the detail on that gun. Really sick. Yeah, but let's keep going. So obviously, a big action sequence is about to happen. But before we can do that, Herschel backtracks and explains like how he transformed into the brass virus and what happened. So at the end of the last issue, Herschel transformed into brass, and he was encountered by the cops. But before the cops can shoot him, some glasses of the brass virus starts to rumble. And they end up shooting at the cops. Like the brass virus gets on the cops basically. So we see it gets on the cops, and they start to transform just like Herschel did with the brass virus. A very painful transformation. I won't really read the dialogue, but you can read it here because it explains it pretty well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just shooting onto them. It's doing the same thing that it did to Herschel. They're transforming into the brass machines. So yeah, so we keep going. And then we go back to the present, and then Brass, we get a good action sequence. The other Brass, the cops who transformed into the Brass, start a fight with Herschel, who was also a Brass machine too. Was also a Brass machine, and yeah, it's just a good fight. Really, really cool. Really good action. The Brass is kind of, because again, it's a virus. It's not an iron. I want to make this really clear. It's not an Iron Man armor. This isn't like Iron Man armor. This isn't like, superhero armor. It's a living, breathing machine. It has a mind of its own. It's like a mix of the Venom symbiote and the Iron Man armor, pretty much. So the Brass machine has a mind of its own. So it's not just armor that Herschel wears. So, and like Herschel's like, I don't want to get into a fight with these guys. Let's talk like adults. But the Brass armor doesn't want that. So it extends like a weapon for Herschel to use. And it's essentially a double-bladed laser sword. So apparently Brass made the dual lightsaber cool before Darth Maul did, which is pretty cool, I guess. So yeah, before Darth Maul made the double-bladed lightsaber famous, Brass came along and did that before Maul. So yeah, and he's basically wielding, double-bladed laser sword. So that's pretty awesome. Cuts this guy in half using the dual-wielded laser sword. It's pretty cool. We see this one guy come up behind him. The other Brass starts shooting at him. Herschel waits for the right moment for the other Brass machine to come close, and then uses the laser. Oh, by the way, here, look. Okay, so the machine's shooting at him. Check this out, guys. The bullets are actually flying. Look at the detail. Look at this. You actually get to see not only the shots being fired at Brass, but you get to see the bullets flying in the air. It's really, really cool. But then, yeah, so he waits for the right moment, and Brass, takes out one of the other Brass. It's pretty cool. Chops him with the laser sword. And yeah, and so he takes him out. See, they're taken out here. And then another Brass machine comes along and, starts kicking his butt too. Yep. Then we get to the scene where we're up in like it's this NASA like space station in space, and apparently it's kind of a long. A short version is like there's like this Russian space station, and they got like this sort of like beep alert thing to like let Miles Craven know that the Brass armor is indeed active. And as I've explained before, this is very detailed, by the way. Look at this. Astronaut, and then you got the space station. Overall, it's such a cool image. Yeah, sorry. Anyways, so yeah, basically Miles Craven, as I explained before in the other issues, he's partly responsible for creating the Brass virus. Like Miles Craven, like it's essentially he owns this government corporation called International Operations IO, and he's like the leader of that. And IO works on like military experiments for the government, and Miles Craven was like responsible pretty much for the Brass virus. So he talks about the backstory of it, about how the military biologist designed it, and how it could turn a person into a living, breathing machine. I'll just let y'all read the dialogue here because it'll make more sense than me explaining it. Here you go. Yeah, and he just talks about how, he created it, and that it can, like, turn people into living, breathing machines, and that, that they didn't actually destroy it, but they hid it under the subway. If you saw my last issue reviews, you know that, but just a little recap. But yeah, anyways, they get into action, get into their copters, and they fly off, and we get this really awesome scene of, like, look at this detail, guys. The plane's just flying off, and it's really, really cool. And the brass machines see the planes flying overhead. They get kind of nervous. Well, not really nervous, but like, and one of them like flies off, getting ready for action. Planes take a few shots. And then we get, I gotta show you guys this. So, glare is gonna kind of mess it up, but get this really cool action sequence of the brass machine firing at these airplanes. Look at this. Here's the brass machine. Okay? It's firing at the airplanes. See the airplanes here. And then you see the airplane getting attacked. Here's the overall image. Pretty freaking sweet, I gotta say. I know the glare messed it up, but I had to do it inside today, so that's how it's gotta be. But still really cool image nonetheless. Probably the best one in the series, to be honest. Of the 3 issues. But yeah, so the plane gets shot down. Reflection in this guy's helmet, that's cool. It hits the street. When we get to the next page, and it's just a lot of good action, guys. There's a lot of good, sick action. And we see an explosion down below. Herschel's like, I don't want to get destroyed by all this wreckage. What's cool is also, so instantly Herschel starts thinking like, I want to be protected, and the brass machine like forms a shield for him. So it's very much like a combination. The brass is basically a combination of, you know, the Venom symbiote and the Iron Man armor in a way, but it's like a living, breathing machine, and it's a virus too. And it actually gets more into that in the book, but yeah, he shields himself because he thinks about shielding himself. So the brass machine creates a shield to shield him from the debris. More action ensues as another plane tries to go in and take the brass virus out. Of course, it doesn't really work. You get this cool scene where the other brass, like I think like the lady brass, like takes her bullets or whatever they are, like offer. It's a really cool scene. She takes the bullets because okay, you can see here she has like a bullet type of spine. I know it's hard to see, but see her spine? It's like made of bullets or something. And so if she takes the bullet spine, you know, off her spine, and like uses her hands to levitate the bullets or rockets or whatever, and shoots them up into the air. And it takes out the plane. Really cool scene. Yeah, anyway, so the plane crashes into like I like the reflection too, that's a nice touch. Crashes into a building. And Brass is like, no, I don't want to hurt anybody, but I will kill you off if you mess with me. I can't tell if that's actually Herschel Goldstein or the brass virus affecting him, making him say that, but I think it's kind of funny because he instantly goes like, I don't want to hurt you guys, but you know, I'll kill you if necessary. That's kind of like a weird character turn. Sorry, I scratched my arm. But, you know, there's so many like crashes and like Miles Craven's finally like, okay, release the EMP. It worked the first time with the other brasses. It should work with him too. So they fire an EMP on Brass and the other lady. And the Russian space station is like, you know, we're ready to take him down. Miles Craven's like, I'm ready. Go as a go. And yeah, they're hit with the EMP things, and all of a sudden, once they're hit with like the EMP device, or whatever you want to call it, the Brass is like now in sort of like he's okay. So he's knocked out on a hospital bed, and he's kind of like in a dream state, like an illusion dream state. So he's all of a sudden confused, like, where am I? Where'd everybody go? And out of nowhere, this little girl shows up out of nowhere, and it's like Herschel when he goes, I don't want to hurt you, little girl, you better get out of here. But then she explains that she is actually the virus. And this is where it gets into more of the actual virus stuff. Because remember, the brass machine in an Iron Man armor, it's not really even a symbiote either. It kind of acts like it, but it's really a virus. And she talks about that the voice you're hearing in an actual little girl, but it's like electrical impulses in your brain. That's what you're hearing. You're hearing redirected electrical impulses in your brain. That's not actually a voice. We are in your mind. We are the virus inside you. So it's an actual. That is like the virus. That is the brass virus. That little girl speaking to him. The virus is speaking to him. So, it's showing him laying on a bed. She's like, "This is you." And she's just explaining what the situation is. He's in the laboratory. He's on the bed. She also explains that there are these like little robots that live. They're part of the virus too. They're these little robots that are like laying on like that are laying or a part of like the outer layer of his skin, and they take information from like the outer world and transport that information to the brass virus, so the brass virus can like feed on so the brass virus knows what to do with that information. So little robots are like I forgot what they're called. I just want to make sure I'm explaining this right. Yeah, these are microscopic enzymes or whatever, and they like lay on the outer skin layer of Herschel's skin. They take information from the outer world, reality, Earth, and transport that information to the brass virus. So, the brass virus can use that for attack or self-defense or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's pretty much what those are. So Brass is just chilling, he's like, yeah, so you're not really a little girl, and then she explains to him that Miles Craven is trying to introduce this retro virus to control us both, and he wants to kill us, basically kill me, and he wants to control us both. He wants to introduce this robot here, which is also a virus. Really good detail, by the way. It's like he wants to introduce that little robot into our system so that I can control me, the virus, and you, Herschel. And so yeah. She's like, we need to stop this. And the only way we can stop this is if we, the virus, and you, Herschel Goldstein, merge together. So the virus and Herschel basically merge together. We get this kind of pretty cool sequence. Here, I'll let you read some of the dialogue too. He talks about how it's kind of like music. It starts as a low hum ascending in tone, and then it is joined by a second hum, also getting louder. I hear the discoherent vibration of a violin being tuned before the two sounds come together and are merged into a single pure note. The note splits and becomes music. It splashes over me, sweeping me along its current, and I let it. And he's basically just describing what he's describing there. It's like the merging between him and the virus. So that's pretty cool, the way he describes it. I like it. Yeah, so he merges. Pretty neat. And he's able to stop the retrovirus. Him and the virus they stop the retrovirus, which is this thing right here. Very cool image. Looks like he's frozen. Yeah, the thing breaks then, and then all of a sudden Miles Craven's there. It's like Mr. Goldstein. And apparently, Herschel Goldstein seems back to normal. And I think that's the lady back there too. Mr. Craven's like, all the stuff you experienced, it was a nightmare, it wasn't real. Injecting the virus to counteract the system, going in your system from the looks of it. You seem to do fine. So he goes, yep, you're good. So Herschel goes home. Miles Craven is like, someone was waiting to see you, and it's the cat from the first issue, because that's like, the cat and Juliet are like his only friends. So, because remember, Herschel Goldstein is a bit of a bum character. Like, he didn't really have that many friends, and he's kind of, a bum. So, at least he has his cat back, so he's happy about that. Miles Craven is like, I got a phone, I'll let the phone on your table if you need to call me, like, let me know if you have any problems. So it's like, okay. So Herschel's all happy, he's got his cat back, he apparently isn't the brass, but no, he is, he's still the brass, and they explain at the end what happens. He goes, Craven lied to me, basically, he's just walking out in the rain. But yeah, Craven lied to me, it was all a lie, it was all a lie, he wasn't just a bad dream, it was real. Only the fact that the two, viruses didn't destroy each other, but my virus destroyed the other virus, the brass virus destroyed the other virus, and so it's a part of me now, or I'm a part of it, I'm not really sure what you'd say, and it ends by saying, but all I know is that now I can kick anybody's ass, so, and yeah, that's the end of the story, that's the end of Brass. He is a part of the brass now, the brass is a part of him, the virus is part of him, he's part of the virus, and now he uses it to fight crime, I guess, so, and yep, that's the end of Brass. And we got some good ads over here, I'm not going to go into those, but yeah. Not sure where here we go, here's the people who worked on it. You can read that if you want to. And yeah, that's Brass. That completes our Brass miniseries. And yeah, I thought it was good. I thought the final issue was good. I thought the art, like last time, had a lot of detail. I thought the ending to the series was good. I liked how it went into, this issue particularly went into more of the virus itself, because again, it's a virus. It's not a symbiote, it's not an Iron Man armor, it's an actual virus. And I liked how it went into more of that. Like it went into more of that detail with it being a virus. And yeah, the action was great. The plane scene was awesome with the brass like shooting the planes down. It was very detailed. You even see the bullets flying in the books. Like you see obviously in comics you see people shoot other people, but you don't normally see the bullets like flying in the air while the shooting's happening, and I like that extra detail. And overall, I like this miniseries, and there is a Brass 2, there is a sequel series that was made a couple years after this. It's 6 issues long, it's set on an alien planet, on the Brass planet or something like that, and I'll probably review that someday, but it won't be for a little bit, but someday we will get there. But yeah, this one was a quick one, so I thought I'd go ahead and review it. It's a good series, it's action-packed, it's got a lot of detail, and that's, I like stuff like that. I mean, here's the back of the cover too. I gotta show it. It's the retrovirus. Look at the detail, guys. Just incredible detail. And yeah, that's Brass. So hope you guys enjoyed my series of Brass reviews, and I really enjoyed this book. So yeah, this has been WildStorm Comics. Oh yeah, I also liked Herschel Goldstein. I gotta say, Herschel Goldstein is the protagonist. I thought he was a good protagonist. I thought he was very unique. I mean, you don't really see a lot of protagonists like Herschel Goldstein in comics. He was very much a hobo type of character. He was sleeping in stairwells. I mean, he didn't really have a job. He's kind of a bum, and I like having that as a protagonist because, a lot of your protagonists are always clean-cut guys. They're like Peter Parker, very responsible, or Superman. You can never do no wrong, or they're like the billionaire rich kids like Batman. It's like, it's cool to have, someone like Herschel Goldstein, because he's a very different protagonist. He's very much a bum character. And he's just very interesting, he's just working a normal job, trying to live life, he didn't really pay his rent, he's not really responsible. I just like having that as a protagonist, so it very much reminds me of, Phil Urich from my Goblin reviews, only, more of a bum in a way. So, but yeah, I think that's it, and I like the backstory of the Brass Virus too, that was pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to mention Herschel because I liked him as a protagonist, but yeah, anyways, This is WildStorm Comics signing off.